So her non-posted, but looks like a question that was in the Facebook group. It looks like there was supposed to be an image here, and there is not. So I pulled the question up over here. This was it, correct?
You're the man. That's why you're in charge of this.
That's it, man. That's why I have to be here next Wednesday, or this shit will fall apart.
Yes.
I'm kidding. All right. So Raja says, I just bought Battleplan 4.0. I've read through it and created a list of services you recommended as part of your done for you services. See pick, which that's a great image. I even told Rob to steal it or do something similar because I thought it was nice that somebody did that. We should have done that long ago. He says, I need to know which of these are ones you suggest are one-time and monthly recurring tests. So essentially he's asking which are one-time purchases for a project and what should be recurring or ongoing services. So anyways, let's just click it through to the image and you can see some of these. And keyword analysis, guys, that's, you know, per project. Or if you were to add, like, for example, different products or services to an existing project, then you might need to order another keyword research project. But typically I recommend going with the deep keyword research for whatever project it is that you're setting up, because right off the bat, you're going to get all the market level keywords that you can think of, including suggested silos, different keywords with different search intent. So whether they're commercial intent, informational intent, you know, all different types of, I mean, it's just incredible how big the keyword files are that the deep keyword research does. So in my opinion, you're better off buying that one time, and then you've pretty much got the entire project covered for, you know, months or years to come. Anybody want to comment on that? Marco, you might want to jump in on these occasionally.
All right, you're going to go through these one by one?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well,
so go through them first is what you're saying?
Yeah, I'd say go through them. I mean, which ones do you need to like one time and which ones should be ongoing?
Okay. So the SEO shield, it depends on what the overall project is. If you're doing, remember the first shield, we always recommend the SEO power shield because that's really creating that brand association with, or brand to keyword association. So that's what we would recommend. However, like for example, if you're doing local, okay, that's what I do, and you have a project that's going to have multiple locations, so different storefronts or different service areas and that kind of stuff, you can always do location shield add-ons to an existing power shield. So that's something that, again, it's really one time depending on the project. So a lot of these are going to, it's, you know, standard SEO answer is it depends, right? So it really depends on the project, but for the most part, for most projects, you're typically just going to need one SEO shield, which we recommend the power shield, because that's basically all of our components combined. Okay. Syndication networks, again, if you buy the SEO shield, the power shield, it already comes with a syndication network. If so you typically only need one syndication network for whatever brand, unless once again, you've got multiple locations and you want location specific syndication networks, which I only recommend if you need them, right? We've talked about this many, many, many times over the years. I always try to get away with one branded syndication network for any project that any local project that I'm doing, even if it has multiple locations, because you can syndicate from each individual location, or you can syndicate from the root domain and have categories or silos set up within the blog itself from the root domain that are basically siloed for the separate locations. So you can kind of kill all birds with one stone with one branded network. However, if there are certain times where particular locations aren't receiving the SEO push that you wanted, like you're not getting the desired results, then it does make sense at that point to get a location specific syndication network that's optimized specifically for that particular location. Then you could always blog specifically from that location into that network. So once again, it depends, but syndication networks, typically it's going to be one branded network for a blog syndication project. But for YouTube syndication, you can pile as many damn networks onto a YouTube channel as you'd like, whether they're single tier or two tier networks, doesn't matter. You can keep adding to them if you'd like. So if you're doing a ton of video SEO stuff, I would recommend, you know, adding more networks over time. RYSR drive stack with G-Site. Again, it's part of the SEO shield packages. So I would recommend that you just buy the SEO shield, but if you needed a separate drive stack for whatever reason, and sometimes you may need that because you've already got certain things built out, that would be essentially a one-time purchase unless you needed to expand for some reason or another. PR silo stacking. Now that's something that you want to do on a recurring basis. I always recommend for low competition, a minimum. I mean, my the lowest competition, like some of my grandfathered clients from, 2012 that are paying me peanuts, but are very low maintenance clients. They only get one press release per month, but they do get one at the very minimum, one press release per month. I recommend typically one every 2 weeks, or for more competitive niches or for more clients with a more aggressive budget, I do at least one. I try to do one per week for clients. So again, that's recurring. I recommend that. A one and done press release isn't going to do much for anybody. Okay. PR silo stacking advantage. Well, that's the same thing. Entity loop ID page, again, part of the SEO shield. If you're going to add a different additional locations, you can always have different ID pages for different locations or for different entities. For example, if you, but for one entity, you should only have one ID page. You can have one for different locations, but once again, that's part of the location shield. So if you have an overall brand and you're going to be adding locations over time, then I would recommend that you buy the location shield add-ons as opposed to just the individual ID page add-ons. Citations, again, that's recurring. That's something that you should be doing on a regular basis for bona fide or legit, genuine businesses, right? That, with NAP, name, address, phone number, that kind of stuff. Citations are something you should be doing regularly. If they're spammed listings for lead generation, don't do citations. I've talked about that many, many times. Link building, ongoing, constantly. That's how you power up your syndication networks, your SEO shield and all the components of it, your drive stacks, your G sites, your ID pages, your brand tier one entity like branded profile links from social media, as well as citations. You can power up press releases, blog posts that have been syndicated to the syndication network. There's a ton of things that you can do with link building and embeds, basically the same. You want to get on a recurring schedule, and that's how you keep pushing additional power into the assets that you've set up or that you've, your project's assets. And other than that, I think we're good. That looks like all of them. Anybody want to comment?
Yeah, I mean, other than the SEO shield should be one time, unless you're going to, as you said, bolt on, and it doesn't have to be just for local. And if you have categories and you're siloing and you're going to theme mirror your silos on you, but then you need an add-on to your existing drive stack, the branded drive stack, which we're soon going to make that available. We're already testing it out. People in our mastermind get first crack. Our paying members and members of the Heavy Hitter Club, paying members, also have access to that. And so we're trying that out, see how it works. And right now, it's the software is working really well. So we're going to soon have that available. The other stuff, the SEO shield covers it, right? Syndication network, your drive stack, G site, and your ad ID. Now, as you said, you can get multiple ad IDs or ad ID pages, but the problem is that you don't want to ambiguate your entity in any way. You have to make sure that if you're creating multiple ad IDs, that you associate these add-on ad IDs to the main entity. You don't want to create separate entities, or else you're going to be competing against yourself. And you're going to end up with filters, especially in local. You're going to end up with map filters. So you have to be really careful how you approach this. It's one of the things that we're going to get into in the Heavy Hitter Club, how to associate your structured data correctly so that you don't confuse the bot. Other than that, what I see as far as citations, link building, and the embeds, which he divided them, and I don't know why, because he can just cycle through these, right?
Yeah.
Apps, videos, or he can include all four of these in one order. Mm-hmm. Like they don't have to be separate. But the next cycle, if you've done all four of them already, they should be other embeds, not the same one. Other targets. Think of other link building targets. You can link build to your citations. You can link build to your entity loop. You can link build to your PR silo, to your drive stack and G site, to your tier one branded. So you have cycles that you run this through, and once you have your calendar set up, all you have to do is come back in order. We are trying a subscription, link building and embed subscription. We are going to have that. We're testing it in the development server right now as we speak. It was just turned over to Rob to try to break it. Rob is in charge of trying to break all of our software because he seems to be really good at it. And then we go back and we fix it. So that's all coming, guys. So you won't even have to think about any of these. You're just going to set the calendar, your link building calendar, and your subscription will take care of everything. We're trying to make it as hands-off as possible. What we would want, right? What we as business owners and people who do client work, what we would want, or our own projects, which we also do, our own money-making projects. We're trying to see how we can transfer what we do to something where you can just come in, order, and be done. Because what we always tell you is your time is worth way more than what you're spending doing all of this yourself. You should be off trying to make more money, pulling in more clients, talking to people, developing your business, and scaling your business, instead of worrying about all of these things that you should be able to just assign to someone to go and do for you.
Yeah, and because of that, because you just mentioned that, there's a great comment here from stand by. I want to find it because let me see if I can find. Oh yeah, it was under here. All right, this was great. Patrick Smith actually. Oh, and by the way, so yes, Raja, the embeds should also be blue, because you color coded it with green as one time and blue as recurring. I would suggest embeds as part of recurring. So link building and embeds, and they go hand in hand, and you could cycle between link building 1 month and embeds another month, and then embeds with links built to the embeds another month. Like, so for example, like I like to mix it up so that you're constantly just pushing power to all the different entity assets in different ways. Okay. But Patrick had a really good comment here to somebody that was asking. He says, imagine being a contractor needing to build a house for a client. You can learn every trade, the foundation, framing, plumbing, electrical, drywall, finishing, etc. yourself, or you could use qualified subcontractors. Semantic mastery methods aren't cheap, but then again, you wouldn't hire an unqualified subcontractor to build a house for that you want to last for generations. For simple local sites and non-competitive niches, you don't need complicated SEO shield or stuff like that. Although I would always recommend doing it anyways. That way you solidify whatever rankings you get, and it's almost like, you know, you become bulletproof at that point. So in my opinion, I would always recommend that regardless of the competition level.
Yep.
He says it's a small, but for medium competitive niches and assets you want to be around for a long term, why not build from the ground up properly? It's a small investment for something that will be around for decades. Websites aren't going anywhere anytime soon, and SEO is still the best investment you can make online, in my opinion. You can build this stuff yourself, but it'll cost you time. It'll cost you to learn, and then you'll have to invest your time in actually building it. Personally, I value my time higher than that. I won't mess with the drywall when I'm focused on building houses. And I thought that was a really good analogy, because again, you know, you can focus on learning how to build these things and then actually executing that, right? Fulfilling the build, which is like being the drywall contractor. Or you can outsource that, right? Hand it off to a trusted fulfillment provider, MGYB, and then work on growing your business. So that, in other words, you would be the home builder at that point. Does that make sense? So you're either the drywall contractor or the home builder. Which do you prefer to be? Personally, I prefer to be the home builder. So I thought that was a great analogy.
And I love when I see that word investment. When I see the members or the followers of Semantic Mastery using what they spend on their businesses, seeing it as an investment, and you know that the mindset is right, because you're not spending, you're not just spending money. You can expect something. If it's an investment, then that means there's ROI expected. So it's totally the mindset is right. So you're out to make money, and the way that you can make more money is by putting money into it, rather than just looking at how to take out money, or not investing anything in the first place other than sweat equity.
Yeah.